Here we are, the last week in July in South Carolina. And if you've been disappointed with your garden, the wonderful things about living in South Carolina is you have a second chance. This is the perfect time to plant your second planting of beans, or your first. And one of the things that we're going to show you today is how to get your children excited about gardening and excited about eating vegetables. Locally grown, healthy vegetables are the best way to improve your child's health and nutrition. We're here today at City Roots, our in-town sustainable farm, and I'd like to welcome Eric McClam, who is allowing us to construct a bean teepee today here at the farm, and you'll be able to visit it and watch the progress. Eric, come on in.
Alrighty.
Now you use bamboo to grow your beans, is that right?
I do. I make a teepee structure in which I plant the beans at the base, and your pole beans are a vining variety which will grow up and kind of produce a sheltered teepee for your kids to play in. So this is going to be a good resource for if you want to come down to the farm down here at City Roots. You can actually check it out here on site.
Absolutely. All right, so what we're doing, we're starting with a fresh piece of bamboo. You say, well, bamboo, I don't have any bamboo. Well, bamboo grows along the side of the road. Stop and cut it. If it's on somebody's property, make sure you ask first. So here we have a piece of green bamboo, and we also have some other pieces of bamboo that Eric has used. We've lashed together the tops of this nice tall bamboo, and we're going to spread out to make a teepee. Just replacing our teepee, the bamboo, and we're going to dig it down about 3 or 4 inches to give it some stability. This is a very tall structure. You don't have to make it this tall. There are no rights and wrongs when you're doing a bean teepee. In fact, if you don't have a garden, you can just dig a hole in your yard and plant your beans right in the space where you dig out your grass. Or if you don't have good soil under your grass, you can even plant these beans in pots at the end of our bamboo sticks. All right, so since this is going to be a teepee that's going to serve as a playhouse for your children, and also if you don't like weeding, we're going to put down some wet cardboard underneath. So this cardboard is going to serve as a weed barrier and also as a really nice foundation for the children to sit on top of the mulch. You know, one of the wonderful things about beans are the number of varieties. Most of us are just used to the in-store green beans, but some of those beans are grown on poles, some of them are grown on bush-sized plants. Obviously today we're going to use the pole beans, and we're going to use a special kind of pole bean. It's called an Oriental long bean. And let me show you some. These are from my home garden, and these plants have been producing for the last several weeks and are just about ready to finish, which is why we're planting our fall beans. And these long wiggly beans are wonderful when cut up and stir-fried or oiled and put on the grill. They make a lovely addition to any plate, and boy, are they good to eat. It's always best with beans to soak them overnight. That plumps up the seeds and gives them a faster and better chance of sprouting a nice healthy plant. And what we're going to do is these beans are going to be planted about a ½ inch deep, and we're going to plant several of them around each pole. And as they grow, we will, you can see Eric is putting twine connecting these poles, and the beans will grow up the poles. Now what we're going to do, what he forgot to do was leave a door. Yep. Because he's used to farming, but what we want to do is we want to make a playhouse. So we're going to take off and leave and leave an opening on the bottom for kids to crawl in and have a lot of fun. Okay, now it's time to plant those beans. And as I said, you can choose the variety. One variety that is well-loved variety is Kentucky Wonder pole bean. And what you do after you've soaked them overnight is simply plant the bean about a ½ inch deep and cover it with loose dirt and water. What we're going to do is we'll plant about 3 beans around the bottom of each pole, and just a couple in between for that to grow up the inside. And in 60 days after these beans have been sprouted, we will start to produce edible green beans. Now we're going to put the mulch on top of the cardboard, which will again not only keep the weeds away, it will also give us a nice place for the children to play. Spread this either with a hoe or with a rake, or send the kids in there to spread it out with their hands. So make sure, folks, that you come out to City Roots and watch the progress of the bean teepee and bring those kids to play underneath. All right, folks, and don't forget, while you're planting your beans, plant an extra row for the hungry. Deliver this to Harvest Hope, deliver your excess produce to Harvest Hope or to one of your local churches that are feeding the hungry. Thank you.